Hi, everybody. So today we're going to start a series. I don't know how long this is going to take actually, because as I started to write down my notes for this particular call, I started seeing that what I have written for today might not actually get all done today. So this might become a two-part series, just this part. And I'm okay with that. The idea here is trying to develop the mindset for coaching. Uh, Actually, Caroline was one of the, I think, something that she said on Facebook kind of helped inspire this. It's like, how do we become better people so that we can make our people better? And what, and the theme for this is coaching people. And notice I didn't say athletes, I said coaching people. So actually people. And one of the overarching theme for this series is that I want us all to recognize that what happens in the gym goes beyond the walls of the gym. As coaches, we have a tremendous opportunity to make an impact and to impact people in a powerful way that includes physically, emotionally, and spiritually, if you believe in that. Um, and similarly, the way people behave in the gym, for many people, not always, is very indicative of the type of person they are outside the gym. Would you guys agree with that? Yeah. So like the way that you handle adversity, the way that you meet challenges, it's very similar in the gym as opposed to outside the gym. I have a couple examples here. So Nicole, when she's working out, she's very head down, focused, and tenacious. And I think she's that way in general, just in life too. Me, I'm kind of lazy, but I can push if given the right motivation. I like to work out with other people because if I'm by myself, I would just kind of pace myself and not really push very hard. So knowing this about people is going to help us make more meaningful connections with the people that we coach. So that's kind of the foundational context for the next few weeks is that we're making connections with people in the gym that go beyond the walls of the gym. And our goal is to make people better people and not just better athletes. So, but before we go that, I want to start off with the self part. So when we go to, as leaders, okay, so each one of us here is a leader, all of us, we need to be constantly checking ourselves as we're working with other people. And the thesis of today's call is that effective leaders have great self-awareness and great empathy. Let's talk about self-awareness first. This is true with your movement. This is true with your personality. This is true with the way you interact with people. Things like body language even. I didn't even realize that the way I stand and the way my body language is in general until we started filming. Like I'll see the way I stand when we're not talking and stuff like that, and I notice that there's things that I do that are like, oh, that's not really great body language. I need to fix that, you know. And some of you guys too, as you guys are starting to film yourself, your movements and everything, you're starting to see that you do things you didn't realize you did. Right? I have a friend who, when she gets flustered, like you see it all over her face and all over her demeanor, but she doesn't realize it. And I think I do the same thing too. Like, I had an ex-girlfriend tell me that I sounded depressed all the time. And even my friends in college, they called me depression because like they would ask me a question. If they couldn't see my face, it sounded like I was sad. And I'm like, no, I'm good. But it was just something that I was doing, just kind of I wasn't very self-aware and didn't know that I was doing that. So one of the things I do now is I try to smile when I talk to kind of convey that I'm in a good mood. But as far as the self-awareness thing goes, as far as coaching, here's some things I want you to ask yourself. So Deb says, people always think I'm mad. I'm working on it. Yeah, there's some people who have RBF, you know, or like constant BF. Yeah, Stacy. So, you know, people will think that you're mad or shy people are actually often labeled as rude because they just kind of keep to themselves and people think that they're snobs, but they're actually just shy. So as far as coaching goes, as self-awareness goes, we're not even going to talk about movement today. We just want to talk about mindset. Is number one, what are your strengths? Do you know what your strengths are? What are your weaknesses? And we've talked about this past summer. What is your why? So those things, your strength, those things, did I say things? I did, didn't I? Those things, they form your identity. So your strengths, your weaknesses, and your why. Those are your identity. And your identity is going to shape your vision, your mission, and your core values. Okay? People often confuse mission statement and vision statement. If you want to think of it this way, your vision statement is something that you want to achieve in the future. So my vision statement, for example, is I want to be able to tell someone in San Diego, wherever they live, that they can go to a gym and there's going to be a good coach there. That's actually what kind of inspired this entire group, is that in San Diego, I think there's maybe 2 or 3 gyms I would say go there. And there's lots of gyms here. And that's kind of sad, you know? So I want to be able to, no matter where you are in the world, I want to be able to say, hey, go to this gym. You'll find good coaching there. In Sao Paulo, I probably send them to Renato's gym. All the other gyms are kind of like, not really sure. And so that's my vision. I want to be able to I want to see virtuosity in every single gym that bears the CrossFit name. That's my vision. So my mission and the way that I'm working to accomplish this is that I exist to mentor coaches and help them to be the best coaches that they can be by way of conference calls like this, one-on-one mentoring, that kind of thing, so that we can see the culmination, the achieving of the vision. Does that make sense? How many of you guys have a personal vision statement? Anybody? Just me? A couple of you? Raise your hand if you have. Actually, you know, if I would ask you right now that you know what your vision statement is. Yeah? Nicole, how's your voice right now? Is it okay?
It's kind of there.
Do you want to share what your vision statement is?
To help people live stronger, healthier, happier lives.
Cool. I just read that off your website too, so I could have read that. You couldn't say it. Anybody else want to share theirs? Go ahead, Bruno.
I think my vision is make people understand what CrossFit really is, you know?
Yeah.
Because people, especially here in Brazil, people don't get the philosophy, you know? And I have a second one that looks like yours, like make the coaches understand what CrossFit really is, you know?
Yeah.
They really impact.
Yeah. That's my personal vision in Brazil also.
Yeah.
That's why we have the Brazilian group.
We're together in this, yeah.
That's why the Brazilian group exists. So yeah, that's my vision too. Mission statement. Does anyone want to share their mission statement? Go ahead, Renato.
So my main mission, I think that is giving classes accessible for everyone here in Brazil. It's actually right now expensive, so in the future I think to construct something like cheaper or for free for people that can afford to have fitness classes here.
That's awesome. So every single one of you, if you don't already have a vision statement or mission statement, after you get off this call, I want you to sit down and write them. Like, why do you do this?
Yeah, I couldn't get the difference between vision and mission. I get some.
That's okay. So a vision statement is something that you want to see happen. It's in the future. So I think that your vision statement is very good. We want Brazilians to know what CrossFit is. Then your mission statement is what you do and why, so that it can fulfill your mission. So what am I doing right now? I am doing weekly calls 3 times a week with coaches all over the world so that we can have virtuosity in CrossFit gyms all over the world. Make sense? Then as far as your core values go, guys, those, they just kind of form who you are, and that should just naturally spill out into the way you execute your mission, which then moves on into your vision. So I'm just gonna read Nicole's here because I think they're good. She has them actually written down on her website. So cheerfulness and gratitude. I think if you've ever spent any time with Nicole, that you see cheerfulness as a big part of who she is, and gratitude. She's always talking about that too. Trust and integrity. Those are super important for me also. That's like number one. If you want me to invest in you as a coach, guys, what I need to see is that I can trust you with my time and that you will do what you say you're going to do. That's how I decide who I spend the most time in, who I invest most of my time in. So if you've spent a considerable amount of time with me, take it as a compliment. It means that I trust you and that I see that you do what you're going to say you're going to do. And that means pretty much everything to me. Growth and resilience. That's huge. Like as coaches, we need to be constantly growing. If I ever say that I know everything, then stop following me. Okay? Just stop it. Or if you have a coach that thinks that they've arrived, they don't know what they're talking about, because there's no way to know everything. Every single one of you in this room here is better at something than I am. It might be something different, completely unrelated, but you see what I mean? Like every single one of us has something to learn from each other, right? If I wanted to learn how to run, I'd talk to Joe. By the way, it's nice to see you on here. It's been a while. You know, if I wanted to know what it's like to have really long legs, I'll talk to Taryn. You know, like, or coaching someone with really long legs, because she understands what that's like. It's very different than from me, right? If I wanted to learn how to play hockey, I'd talk to Sarah. You know, I play a little bit, but I'm sure she's better than me. But you see what I'm saying? Like every single one of us has something to learn from each other, and we have to maintain that mindset always. Always. That's non-negotiable. Resilience. Okay, this is really, really important because I like what she says here. It says, I believe the best results come from overcoming obstacles and adversity. 1,000,000%. Like a good sailor, what's the saying? It says steady, easy seas does not make a strong sailor, right? If everything is easy, you're never going to be good at anything. Like adversity is required to get better at anything. Teamwork. This one is huge, okay? She says, I believe the client and coach relationship should work together as a team, matching each other's efforts. I've gotten some really nice notes from a lot of you about things that I've achieved with my help, but really, you guys were the ones who did all the work. All I did was kind of point the way, you know? And I firmly believe that teamwork is everything. Like, I really, really am grateful for Renato and Bruno who take over the Brazilian call when I'm flying and can't do them. You know, or just the other week, last week, I couldn't make a call, so they ran the group for us, and everything was fine. You know, when I'm gone, I can't do stuff. Nicole usually picks it up, and she'll teach gymnastics and stuff like that. So that's another thing that you all need to really embrace, is this idea of delegating and bringing people around you. You know, like that's how you get stuff done. And then their final core value here is enjoying the journey. I believe it is about finding the joy in the process and taking pride in mastering the basics. I really like that, taking pride in mastering the basics. Most CrossFitters don't have that mindset, right? They just want to say, I have a muscle up. And it doesn't matter how ugly or how dangerous or sketchy it was. It's like, I got a muscle up. Like, no, like you need to be able to control those things. It's more impressive to do it slow than it is to do it fast. Y'all agree with that? Okay. So core values, guys, this is super important for us to have, is like, we need to know ourselves first. Okay. And in knowing ourselves, that's how we leverage and make our best contribution, right? That the thing is, I'm all about developing our weaknesses for sure. Definitely develop your weaknesses. But when time is of the essence and you don't have a lot of yourself, you need to figure out what your best contribution is, right? Like, what is your best contribution to a team, and do that. I think a lot of coaches will get, and a lot of gym owners and business people and entrepreneurs will often get stuck in that trap of just so much activity And activity doesn't necessarily mean progress, right? You guys agree with that? You've all seen someone on a rower that is just like making lots of like going really fast and like they're all out of order and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, if they're actually on a boat in water, what would happen? They wouldn't go anywhere. They'd splash around like fools and they wouldn't go anywhere. And lots of us are doing that. You know, like a lot of the stuff that I'm going to talk about today is inspired by Gary Vaynerchuk. If you don't follow him, you should, especially if you're an entrepreneur, because he's all about self-awareness and empathy. And so am I. That's why I resonate with him. He uses a lot more colorful language than I do. And if you're sensitive to that, then maybe you don't want to listen to him. But I really, really value all the stuff that he has to say. So a lot of what I'm talking about comes from him and podcasts I've been listening to the last few days. But I like the way that he phrases it because I feel like it explains the way I feel better than whatever. So our identity shapes our vision, our mission, and our core values. And all of that, it helps us determine, or actually it helps shape the quality of our coaching, the quality and personality of our coaching, right? Who you are should come out. People should see that in you. Like if you take Nicole's class, you're gonna smile. She's always happy. She's dancing around, and that's just kind of who she is. That her core values come out and shine in the way she coaches. Well, if you've ever taken a class from me, I'm sure you've seen that also, that my personality is in my classes. Okay. So that's self-awareness, like knowing who you are and knowing how that's going to shape the way that you coach other people, and really, really building off of your strengths and your best contribution. Okay, that's number one, knowing yourself. Okay, the second thing is empathy, and I feel like empathy is the determining factor in the connection you make with people. Aristotle called this pathos, and that's how we make emotional connections. Okay, persuasion cannot happen in the absence of emotional connection. Like a lot of us have a hard time getting people to do what we want them to do, or getting people to do what we know they should do. But at the end of the day, we need to realize that people are not going to do things unless they want to. That makes sense? Like we have to figure out the button to push to make them want that thing. And what that requires is empathy. We need to be able to, empathy and sympathy. We need to figure out what makes this person click and how can I connect with that? What does this person really want? Like in sales, it's like the needs analysis. You're like, okay, what does this person really want? Look, I want to get fitter. Okay, well, what will that do for you if you were fitter? Well, I'd probably get on more dates. Okay, so what you're really saying is you don't want to be lonely anymore. Is that what you're saying? Like, yes. Okay, so it's like looking behind what people are actually saying and figuring out what really makes them click and then push on that button. You don't really get there unless you make connections with people, right? That's super important. Like we need to know ourselves and be able to relate with other people. If I see someone that's kind of in the same place as me, or maybe experiencing something that I experienced in the past, thinking about, okay, well, what connected with me to make me want to change? And how can I help that person make that connection? You guys following? You guys tracking there? There's 3 types of leaders. I learned this when I was in Bible school. Number 1, there's the charismatic leader. This is the leader that people just follow because this guy or girl has charisma. They're charming. Everyone wants to be around them. They're funny. They're witty. They say funny. They just want to be around this person. It doesn't matter if this person actually knows what they're doing or knows anything at all. People will follow this person off a cliff. Right? You've all seen leaders like that, right? Many of your gyms are run by people like this. They don't know what they're doing, but people love them because of their personality, right? And then there's a type of leader that people follow because they feel like they'll get somewhere merely by association. You ever had people who just kind of suck up to you because they're like, oh, if I'm cool with this person, then it'll get me places. Or maybe you've done that before, right? Y'all know that kind of leader, right? Person is just like, I just want to be behind this person because of the association. The third kind of leader is a leader that people follow because they feel like they're going to become better. for it, whether they're going to learn something or they're just going to or become better themselves. That's the type of leader that I hope to be for you guys. That I'm constantly giving you guys value. I know that I'm not the most charming or charismatic person, but what I know what my strength is that I know how to connect with people and help them be better. And that's the type of leader I'm trying to be. That's the most impactful type of leader. That's the most valuable type of leader. And we should all here aspire to be that kind of leader. Make sense? Okay, so in order to do that, that requires pathos. That requires making an emotional connection with people. And you don't, it doesn't have to be like super like intimate, you know, but like if you know someone likes soccer, talk about soccer. It's an instant in, right? Or people, that's one of the easiest ways to start conversations. Talk about sports if they like sports. Whatever it is, trying to figure out what makes people tick and connecting with them in that way. Okay. So I'm going to, I think I got through this pretty fast. So I'm going to open this up to questions. But before we do that, I have 5 things that I want us all to do. Okay, so 5 call to action pieces. Number 1, know who you are. Okay, that's super, super important. Like, know what you're good at, know what you suck at, and know what you value. That's super, super important. Is know what you value, and don't settle for anything lower than that. Okay, like for me, I know I value good movement, and so I don't settle for anything less than that. Pat Sherwood told me be relentless, and I took that and I ran with it, and it's been my mantra forever. And that's Pat Sherwood's fault. So if you ever see him, and you can say, "Hey, Ray's really mean to me. It's your fault." It's Pat Sherwood's fault. You know, like, so know who you are, and in that way, know your mission. I really like, oh yeah, Palo said here, diamonds are shaped under pressure. Yeah, actually, let me go to that. That's my next point, actually. So the second point here is embrace adversity. Like, I know some people, they try to avoid adversity at all costs, and that's immature and not going to get you anywhere. You know, like, I'm not saying to go look for it. It's going to find you. Like, I'm really excited for Nikki, because Nikki posted a success yesterday where that guy who was just a complete jerk to her was actually nice to her the other day. And so that's awesome. You know, yeah, Caroline's like, yeah, you know, he was actually nice to her. And here's the thing, like, I do not believe in coincidences, and I don't believe in accidents. I believe that everything has a purpose and everything has an intention, and our goal is to figure out what that is. And I know for a fact, because of Nikki's personality, Nikki's probably one of the nicest people you ever meet, but she can get steamrolled by people like that. And so opportunities like this are great for her because it makes her better. You know, every single one of us has an Achilles heel, and it's gonna happen that you're gonna run into adversity. And rather than go cry in the corner and become the victim, like, well, no. You don't get to choose, well, you don't always know why things happen to you, but you do have the power to choose how you will react to it. Will you be bitter or will you be better? Will you play the victim or will you be the conqueror? You get to choose that. It's easy to play the victim and then cry about it to your friends, but those enabling people, they're not going anywhere either. You know, like, if something hits you and you're like, well, crap, how do I deal with this? Figure it out, because you will be better for it for sure. So embrace adversity. Here's number 3. Be open to failure. And maybe not even failure, but be open to feedback, right? That's super crucial. Some of you guys work for coaches who just are not open to feedback at all, and you guys are super frustrated because things really suck in the gym, right? And you're just like, like, don't be that person. If there's something that I'm doing, guys, that you don't agree with and don't appreciate, then please let me know so I can do differently. That's an open invitation to all of you guys. If there's something you think I can be doing better, then I want to know so I can be that person. And each one of us should aspire to be that leader too. One of the cool things about being on staff for CrossFit is that you're constantly getting feedback. Every single time you work, you get feedback. So if you don't like feedback, you're not going to do very well. And for some of you guys who don't know this, I actually failed my very first time to the internship. You know, like I got to day 2 and then I was told, hey, take 6 months and try this again. It was actually the best thing that ever happened to me. By far, the best thing that ever happened to me. Because it really forced me to dig deep and to learn and to be better. So I'm really grateful that Todd failed me that first time. So be open to failure, or even if it's just feedback, be open to feedback. Number 4, learn to adapt. Super, super important. A lot of us, I know for myself, when I first started coaching, I was very black and white. It needs to be this way. It needs to be that way. This is the way the training guide says to do it. But you know what, guys? Life is gray. If you are stuck on absolutes, it's not going to do you so good, especially dealing with people, especially in a world where you have so many different kinds of people of different backgrounds and different beliefs and different perspectives. We need to have some room for wiggle. I mean, the overarching thing, guys, is as long as the person's not hurting themselves, yeah. Let's see. I love that you said you're grateful for Gary. Ignore that, Gary. Oh. No, Gary actually says that. Gary says like he loves to fail because he learns. Every single time he learns. And that's the way that we need to think of failure, is that we're learning, we're becoming better. But being part of that now is learning to adapt. So in this covers all kinds of facets. Like, okay, you know, yeah, Stacey says it's an opportunity to begin again when you fail. It's only failing if you don't try again. That's all it really is. You know, it's an opportunity to try something different. In business and coaching, like I see coaches all the time are like, I don't want to give that cue. I don't know if it's going to work. You ever seen me give cues? I'll give like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 sometimes. I go, I don't know. That didn't work. That didn't work. That didn't work. Oh, that one worked. You know, like our job is just experimenting. Yeah, Pelo, that's actually another thing that Gary says all the time. I win or I learn. Right? I win or I learn. And the same thing with cueing. It works or it doesn't. I learn a new cue. And sometimes a cue I didn't think was going to work. So learn to adapt. So that means if you get feedback, make changes. If someone comes in and doesn't quite fit a particular mold, then adapt for them. Like successful coaches are able to make changes on the fly and not get like, oh gosh, I don't know what to do. Like this person's completely different. I've never worked with this before. It's like, well, just try, you know? And then the 5th thing, okay, this is the most important one, guys. So if you have a piece of paper, write this down. It's 4 letters that you need to make sure that you have written down. This is super, super important to be a good coach. 4 letters, C-A-R-E, care. You have to care about people. You have to care. Like it bugs me to no end when I go to a gym, I just see a coach standing around like this. Or worse yet, I was in a gym like this where there's 9 people squatting, 9 squat racks, and the dude was in the room like this. Or I was in Brazil a few months ago. I look over the balcony and chick sitting in a lawn chair. I'm like, what is happening right now? It's not okay. Like, successful coaches care. That's like, why are you here in the first place? Like, if the word on the back of your shirt says coach, then you should do your job, right? And that involves caring. You need to look for opportunities to help people do better. And you're like, okay, I care enough about you to help make change here. So let's quickly review what we talked about, and then we'll open it up to questions and discussion. Cool. Effective leaders have great self-awareness and empathy. You need to know who you are, okay? And that shapes your vision, your mission, and your core values. And from there comes your personality, your identity, and that's how you coach. That being said, be you. Be you. So many coaches are trying to be other people. Like I tried to be Kelly Starrett for the longest time. That was who I wanted to be. And then I was trying to be, who else was? I was trying to be Dave Lipson. I was trying to be this person. I was trying to be that person, you know? And then I realized that I'm more effective when I'm myself. Because it just overflows, right? As long as you know things, it's just going to come out and just be you. Yeah, just be you. Okay, so that's the first part. Know yourself so that you can be yourself. Simple. There's too many variables to worry about if you, to add another variable trying to copy, like, what would so and so do? You know, like, yeah, it's fine to take influences, but don't try to mimic somebody else. I'm not going to try to be Coach B. I'm me with Coach B things, you know. Bruno says there's an article in CrossFit Journal talking about being the big you. That means that, yes, the best version of yourself for sure. Yeah. So first, know yourself, and that's going to help you be able to connect with people. And then with that point there, empathy. You know, we need to figure out how people click and then use our unique experiences to help those people succeed. So calls to action, guys. There's 5 of them here. Number 1, know who you are. So know your mission. Number 2, embrace adversity. So that means grow. Number 3, be open to failure. So feedback. Number 4, learn to adapt. So evolve. And number 5, care about people. That's pretty much it. Any thoughts? Any vile objections? Anybody? No? Wow. That was easy.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, you said about the types of leaders, and there's this. I saw this article in a website page of Ben Bergeron a long time ago, talking about the 5 levels of leadership.
Yeah.
And he's placing 5 levels. The first one is when you lead people to a position you hold. Like if someone goes to your gym and you are there, so this person will be lead for you because you're there. This person doesn't have an option. So, and the second level is when people start like you, like your values. So this is the second level of leadership, and we have to go towards the next level. So the third level is when people see results that you make in other people, like, oh my God, that guy is working with hay and made 100 kilos snatch. And so the fourth level is when these people get the result. So you're leading these people in a fourth level, and oh my God, now I get 100 kilos snatch too, for instance. Yes, and the fifth level is like something like the pinnacle, and say, but it's
pinnacle.
Yes, when what you represent, you know, like people see you representing like Greg Glassman, they represent a brand, or Ben Bergeron represent excellence, or you for us represent this group. So. And the point is we have to make the effort to not just leading being charismatic, but leading getting results and leading all kinds of levels. And we have to know that we're going to lead people, different people in different levels. So if someone is level 5 for me, or the people who appeared at the gym today, and these people is going to be level 1 to me, and I have to bring each person to level 5 or to level 4 to me. That's the point.
Yep. I think Philip shared that one time too. I think you shared that like a year ago. Yeah. Cool. Renato, you wanted to share something?
No. I thought it's so deep. Bruno was here last weekend, and we were talking about our bad side, good sides, and how we inspire the people. So I think it's important to always strive for a better version of us, because people will do what they see that we are doing. you know?
Mhm.
So that's awesome. I like this subject. I like these 5 things, and I wrote down. I will try to assess myself about it. That's awesome.
For those of you guys who are like Hanato runs his gym, he owns his gym. This is super important because there's a trickle down effect, right? And you also need to make sure that your coaches are also following the way you are doing things. So when I ran my gym, I made it very, very clear the standards of how I wanted things to run. It's like basically I told my coaches, hey, I'm basically imparting myself into you guys with the intention that you are going to produce the same caliber of coaching when you're working. Like, you be yourself, be you, but also if I could take my brain and I could download it and upload it into someone else's brain, I totally would. Like, there are some people who are so close-fisted about what they know, and are like, no, I'm not going to tell you everything. But I'm the other way around. If I could take this brain and just, here, take what's useful to you and run with it, I would totally do that for all of you guys. And that's the kind of coach that I feel like we need to be, is to be open-handed with things. Like, sometimes people say, oh, hold things back. It's like, well, in my mind, it's like my whole hope is that all the stuff that I have in here that's been beneficial to me, if it can be beneficial for someone else, why not share it? You know, like, there are some people who are so threatened by other people that they purposely hold back. If all of you guys become way better coaches than me and no one ever remembers me, I feel like at least I feel like I would still be fulfilled that way. Like, if that's really, I mean, I think that's the ultimate compliment, is when someone that you coach becomes better than you. I think that's pretty amazing. So, like, I think it's a very insecure person who will hold back and not want to make someone be better. And
Once you saw someone that becomes better, you achieved your goal. That's our goal.
mm-hmm,
Making people better, even than us.
mm-hmm.
That's nice.
And the thing too is, if you approach it from the right perspective, is that as other people are growing, you have to learn more too. So there's always going to be a continuous process of learning and growing. So there's really nothing to worry about there. As long as you have that mindset, like, it's give, give, give. Here's another analogy. People don't always remember the hose, right? You know what a hose is. It's the thing where the water comes out of.
Yeah.
Let us be hoses. You know, like, we're connected to a source and we spray it all over the place, you know. Or you could be a bucket. You know, a bucket's just a receptacle where you just pour water into it. But what happens to a bucket after it's been sitting for a while? The water gets stagnant.
It's still and stagnant.
Yeah, it gets still and stagnant. It starts to stink. Things start to grow and it gets nasty. And it's like, that's kind of what happens to people when they get complacent, isn't it? Right? You see coaches that are just stop learning, stop growing, and they just become like, they're not fun to be around. You know, they're like, this is the way we've always done it. And it's like, well, sometimes things change and they have to change. But if you're that water hose that's stuck to the spigot, you're constantly going to get new stuff. You get the benefit of the water, and you're also helping other people.
Yeah,
So,
and there's an abundance of water, and
exactly.
There's an abundance of knowledge, and you can keep on gaining knowledge, retaining knowledge, and sharing knowledge. And it's never going to get you behind. It's only going to get you ahead. You can't worry about competing with your peers, is how I look at it. The more we share, I mean, that's why you have a mentoring group like this, right? So you can share this professional aspect and get better.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, and in my email, in my signature, I have "Make today your best," and that's really a philosophy I've gone on for a long time, is not just make myself better and have my best day. And that just means the best day I can have that day. It's not gonna be a perfect day every day. And that's the same thing I try to do with my clients. Hey, give it your best. Let's do well today, and let me help you do your best. And it comes with that heart, that commitment, and that passion.
100%. Totally. Anyone else want to share? Nicole, any thoughts? Oh, I can hear you. Oh, you're good. Okay. Well, oh, Philip just said I just started reading Mindset. It is oh, who's it by?
Gosh, you just hold on one second. I'll look it up. I just completely spaced out on her name. I want to say Carol. I got it off of. I started reading it based off of looking at Ben Bergeron on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and it was one of the books that he recommended on his top 10. Carol Dweck. Oh, here. Dweck. There you go.
Cool.
I couldn't remember her last name. I knew it was Carol. But it's just it's a really good, I actually reposted something on Instagram for those of you who have seen it. Just a great way of, when we communicate with our members, the message that we're getting across goes back to that caring,
Mm-hmm.
where it's oh yeah, good job on that lift. Or when we've heard a million times from Ray, for those of us who have watched videos with him, or he's seen us, and it's like, that was a great start. Where can we improve, or how can we get you to point B or point A? There's reason behind what we say and why we say it, and not just leaving it with yep, that's your max. You're never getting any better.
Yeah, I mean, it's constantly an evolution, right? It's just always going to be something better. There's no such thing as a perfect lift. There isn't. There's always going to be something out of place. And so it's like the crab sandwich, right? Point out the stuff that's good. Like, I really love that. Some of you guys are better at doing that than me. But then, there's always something to add, right? There's always something to be better at, for sure.
What I see sometimes on coaches who are just beginning, they are not really confident with coaching athletes that might be more advanced
Mm-hmm.
compared to them, because they just feel like, oh, okay, so they lift more. There's nothing to fix, but that's the biggest mistake. Always there's, as you said, right? Rich Froning has early pull on the snatch.
Yeah, but he does that on purpose. So
yeah, but it's still not considered maybe the most effective way how to do it, right?
for him, it might be. So that's the thing. Remember, we talked about adapting. So, like, the world is gray. We have to remember that. The world's gray. We can't live black and white. Yes, for most people in most situations, most of the time, keeping the arm straight is going to be better. But for someone like Rich, who is he with intention, with purpose, has consciously chosen to do that, and he does it every single time the same exact way, and he's successful with it, fine. I'm not going to change that. I'm not going to ask him. I'm not going to cue him that. No.
Yeah.
But there's other little things, like little brain farts, that we can cue for sure. If Dave Castro ever comes to your gym and takes a class from you, you better cue him. I remember he came to my gym. I was like, should I cue him? Should I? He's not squatting all the way down. His knees are caving in. Should I say something? Yeah, I better say something. So yeah, I mean, there's always opportunity. And we've talked about this too, is make people fight for millimeters, right? If there's no perfect lift, then what's the perfect lift? I don't know. That's very philosophical, Nick. I can't speak English anymore. Philosophical.
I would say it's just chasing that perfect lift. It's like there's no destination, it's just journey. Right?
Yep. Exactly. That's enjoying the journey. So I really like what Nicole wrote here. So I believe it is about finding the joy in the process and taking pride in mastering the basics. Gary Vee said this also yesterday in a podcast I was listening to. It's like, once you achieve something, it's not attractive anymore, is it? Right? It's the process that we're really in love with. It's the fight. It's the challenge. That's what's appealing. So just enjoy the journey. I was telling Taryn the other day too. She's like, I might take another class. And I was like, when I went to UCSD, I wish I took less classes. And just enjoyed being a kid. Enjoy being a student. Like, walk around Price Center and watching weird people do, like that kind of stuff. Like, I was in such a rush to get through school. And when I look back, I'm like, man, I should have taken my time a little more. Because college was fun. Let's see. Yeah. Well, that's pretty much all I have for today. I hope that was meaningful for you guys.
Ray, I just texted you a screenshot of the sample of what Mindset has in it.
Oh. Oh, okay. It's like I don't have my messages on right now because they're distracting, but let's see. Here it is.
Thought it'd be good for a share there.
I like it. Hold on, let's see. One moment, please. There it is. Okay. Share screen. Where is it? There she is. Here we go. You're a natural. I love that. You're a learner. I love that. Well, at least you tried. That didn't work. Let's talk about how you approached it and what might make it better. Great job. You're so talented. Great job. What's one thing that we could have done? Could have been that even better. This is hard. I don't feel bad if you can't do it. This is hard. Don't feel bad if you can't do it yet. Love that. Maybe this just isn't your strength. Don't worry. You have other things to contribute. I have high standards. I'm holding you to them because I know you can reach them. Yeah. I think
And that's
go ahead.
I was gonna say that's the way it talks about being in a fixed mindset and then an open mindset.
Yes.
And that's what the whole book is really revolves around that.
And I think, I mean, just kind of what I was about to say too was when I lost my thought, was it's a lot. There's a lot to do with the way that you phrase things, right? You can say the same thing two completely different ways. They mean exactly the same thing, but they'll be received differently, right? And that mindset thing here that you've just kind of highlighted, Philip, is perfect. It's like, you're natural. I love that. Okay, well, you're a learner. I love that. That's really more important, right? You know, being naturally good at something and being a learner are two different things. Part of the key for us is figuring out how we can phrase things and how we can relate with people so that it impacts them more impactfully, more meaningfully. Yeah. Yeah, the crap sandwich, Paulo. Oh, you guys can help me with this. So for the longest time, I never, ever, ever cursed, ever. Like if I did, it really meant something. My members would be like, oh my gosh, Ray just said a bad word. And I decided for October that I was going to go back and do that. So I won't say the word that you wrote there. Oh, but yeah. So if you guys can help me be accountable to that, that would be amazing. So that's just kind of throwing that out there as a side note. Sarah says, I have a rule in all the classes I teach and everyone knows it. You're allowed to say I can't. You can only say I can't yet. Or you aren't allowed to say I can't. You can only say I can't yet. And when someone doesn't follow what the entire class reminds them, it's awesome. We used to do burpees anytime that someone said the word can't. Like you just remove it from your entire vocabulary. It's just like
I used to do burpees to someone else. So
yeah, give someone else burpees. Yeah. Or even like Leighton say currently unable to. You could just say like I will do this someday. Rather than like focusing on the negative side of it, like I will do this, I will get this. You know what I mean? Kind of like claim it instead of like assume. Like I can't do this. Well, I'm gonna get this. You see how that changes things? It makes it more powerful, right? Yeah, focus on the process. Focus on what's happening. Philip says, for those who are readers, something I'm trying to be better at, the obstacle is the way. Love that. Is a great book on the failure topic. Yep. There's no secret. Those who stay humble and learn are the naturally talented one. Yeah. Yeah. These are all amazing. But yeah. Cool. Ego is an enemy. Nice.
Same author as The Obstacle is the Way.
Oh,
That's
yeah?
Yeah. Ryan Holiday.
Okay. Can you write that down there, Brian Holiday?
Ryan Holiday.
Ryan Holiday, like the holiday?
Yes.
Like this?
Yes.
Cool.
I believe that's the last name spelling.
Awesome. Alrighty then, guys. Next week, the topic is going to be now that we know ourselves. So this is gonna be more for like the head coaches, the gym owners, and stuff like that. The next part of coaching people is creating culture. So people have often asked me, like, how did you get your gym to all do this, this, this? It's like, well, it's a trickle down effect. You know, it has to start from the top. I was a top guy, and I instilled that mindset in my coaches, who then trickled that down to the members. So like all the way down to the bottom, the members knew that, hey, we're constantly learning. Our goal is to help each other learn and to move better. They all, I mean, without me even telling them what my vision and mission were, they knew it because of the way I ran the gym. And because I instilled that mindset in each one of them. Because I even made my athletes coaches. Like, it was a purposeful, intentional thing. What I did was every single day, at least one time, you're working with somebody else and you're coaching each other. So our gym had that culture. It's like we take care of each other. We cue each other when we're doing something dumb, you know? It was just, that was the culture that we created. We teach each other, we take care of each other, and we value good movement. So we're going to talk about that next week, starting from the top all the way down, trickle it down, so that even the brand new member who just starts is going to know what that is supposed to be. Cool. Off topic, Kristen, how freaking cool is it there? You look like you're about to step in England. You just got this full-blown burqa.
She's all bundled up, and I'm sitting here going like, I could go jump in a pool.
Yeah. I saw it, but it didn't make the connection.
It's cold here. It's raining. It's like 50.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. All right, y'all. We'll see you guys on Thursday. I will be in Brazil. Please, if you can, submit your videos using the new link thing. That makes my life so much easier. It helps me make sure that I'm not missing anybody. 102, good Lord, that's double. Whew, it's toasty. All right, then. We'll see y'all on Thursday. Take care. Jonathan, good to see you here on this time. Actually, can we do a group photo? Everyone smile. Pretend like you're happy to be here. Ready? And cool, guys. See you guys on Thursday. Have a great day. Bye.